Okay, so let's dive in. You're working in IT, you're hearing all this noise about AI, and maybe, just maybe, there's that little question nagging at you. Is my job safe? Will a machine be doing what I do soon? Look, it's a fair question these days.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the speed AI is moving at, it's definitely making people take notice across the whole tech world. But, what's really fascinating when you start digging is the flip side.
Right.
While AI is automating certain tasks, yeah, it's actually making a lot of other IT skills even more vital, more
Yeah.
critical.
And that's exactly what we want to unpack today.
Yeah.
Think of this as like your guide to future-proofing your IT career, you know? In this age of AI, we've been looking at this great piece, Top 10 High-Demand IT Skills That AI Won't Replace by 2030.
Hmm.
And it pulls in thoughts from, well, people like Satya Nadella, Jeannie Rometty, Elon Musk, a whole bunch of heavy hitters in
Hmm.
tech. So our goal really is to cut through all the noise and give you some solid, actionable ideas about the skills that aren't just safe, but are likely to be super in demand.
Exactly. This isn't about, fighting against AI. It's more about understanding where that human touch, that human expertise is still absolutely essential and how you can position yourself to, well, succeed long term. Andrew Ng said it, right? AI is the new electricity. And just like electricity meant we suddenly needed lots of electricians, AI is creating this huge need for skilled people who know how to work with it. So let's jump into those skills.
Okay, first one up. Cybersecurity and ethical hacking. Now, AI, sure, it can scan for known weaknesses, but here's the thing. Our sources really stress this. When you're up against actual human hackers,
Hmm.
you need that human element.
Yeah.
Intuition, thinking like the bad guy strategically and having that strong ethical compass. AI can crunch data, yeah, but getting inside the head of someone planning a totally new kind of attack, like a clever phishing scam,
Hmm.
AI is not there.
And what's really interesting is that cybersecurity, fundamentally, it's like a game of cat and mouse, isn't it? The threats are always changing because attackers keep coming up with new stuff. We've seen these really sophisticated phishing attacks lately that play on very specific psychological triggers.
Right.
That's something AI might really struggle to predict unless it's been specifically trained on that exact kind of manipulation. So you need human analysts to spot those subtle new tactics as they emerge.
Exactly. So if this is your area, you're doing way more than just running scans. You're actively trying to break into systems yourself, but in a controlled way that's pen testing.
Right.
You're analyzing threats, figuring out their potential impact, building defenses, designing security right from the start. Tools like Kali Linux, Metasploit, they're your bread and butter. And certs like CEH or CompTIA Security Plus P, they really show, your stuff. And the job outlook. We're talking something like 35% growth predicted by 2031. It's huge. Bruce Schneier really put it well. As long as there are people, there will be hackers.
Yeah.
And as long as there are hackers, we'll need humans who can outsmart them.
That outsmarting part is key. It's proactive.
Yep.
Okay, next up, skill number 2. Cloud architecture and DevOps. Now look, AI can probably automate some basic cloud stuff, routine tasks,
Sure.
but designing and then optimizing these really complex cloud setups, tailoring them to exactly what a business needs, that still very much needs human architects. Think of it like this. Maybe AI can put together some pre-made building blocks,
Yeah.
but it takes a human architect to understand what the client actually wants and then design something custom, something that can scale, and importantly, something secure.
Totally. You're working with platforms like AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, figuring out the best services, how they all fit together, how to make it grow with the business. And then there's DevOps, right? Automating that whole software delivery process. Using tools like Terraform for infrastructure as code, Kubernetes for containers, Jenkins for CI/CD. It's all about making things smooth and reliable. And those certifications, like AWS Certified Solutions Architect or the Azure equivalent, there's serious validation. Like Diane Green said, cloud computing is not just the backbone of AI, it's a career path in itself.
It really is. And it's a path that needs you to understand trade-offs constantly, like balancing costs versus performance versus reliability. Those are often tricky judgment calls based on what the business actually needs right now.
Hmm.
Okay, our third skill is kind of ironic, actually, AI and machine learning development itself.
Huh. Yeah.
I mean, AI can help, right? It can maybe generate some code snippets or help explore data initially, but the core creativity, figuring out the right problem to even solve with AI in the first place, understanding the context to build something truly useful, that's still very much human territory.
That's it. You're the one designing the algorithms, training the models, feeding them the right data, and then critically interpreting what comes out to make actual decisions. You're using Python R, frameworks like TensorFlow, PyTorch,
Yeah.
and the demand. Well, let's just say it's exploding. It goes back to Andrew Ng, doesn't it? AI is a tool. The real power comes from people who know how to wield it. It's like AI might make the hammer, but we're the ones designing the house and deciding where to hit the nails.
Great analogy. And speaking of building, our fourth skill, data engineering and data governance. AI needs data, lots of it, but it needs good data, clean, reliable, properly managed data.
Absolutely.
And that's where data engineers are, well, essential. They build and maintain those pipelines that feed the AI systems. And just as important, they set up the rules, the governance, to make sure the data is high quality, private, think GDPR, HIPAA, and compliant. AI can spot odd things, anomalies, but humans define what good data even means, and they handle the ethical side of things.
Totally. Data engineers are kind of the unsung heroes here, making sure the whole AI engine runs properly. They're using tools like Apache Spark, Hadoop for the big stuff, SQL, NoSQL databases, managing workflows with things like Airflow, Kafka,
Right.
and certifications. Things like the Google Professional Data Engineer or the Azure Data Engineer certs are definitely ones to look into if this is your area. Fei Lu said it, didn't she? Without good data, you can't build good AI. And good data comes from great data engineers.
Exactly, and making sure that data is handled ethically, that's a fundamentally human responsibility.
Sure.
Okay, shifting gears slightly. Skill number 5, UI/UX design and human-centered computing. Now, AI might be able to analyze user clicks or suggest layouts.
Yeah, I've seen some tools like that.
Right, but it lacks that core empathy, that creative spark, that deep understanding of human behavior. You need to design interfaces that people actually find intuitive, easy, and maybe even enjoyable to use. Good design is so much more than just how it looks.
Oh, for sure.
Yes.
As a UI/UX person, you're out there talking to users, watching them, creating wireframes, prototypes, constantly tweaking things based on feedback. You're basically the user's champion inside the company. Tools like Figma, Sketch, Adobe XD are key. And understanding design thinking, accessibility, making sure everyone can use it, that's vital. It's like Steve Jobs said, right? Design is not just what it looks like and feels like. Design is how it works. AI can analyze the how it works data,
Yeah.
but it doesn't really get the feels like part, does it?
Not really. That emotional side of the user experience, AI can't replicate that. Okay, number 6, project management, especially for agile and tech projects. AI might help with scheduling, maybe resource allocation.
Yeah, optimizing tasks.
Sure, but it just doesn't have the leadership skills, the emotional intelligence, the ability to smooth over conflicts, get everyone pulling in the same direction, manage stakeholders, all that human stuff. That's crucial for actually getting projects done, especially complex tech ones. Projects, at their heart, are about people. Right. You're the one managing scope, budget, deadlines. You're running the agile meetings, the scrum ceremonies. You're keeping communication flowing between all the different teams and stakeholders. Using tools like Jira, Trello, Asana to keep track of it all, and certs like PMP or PMI ACP, they carry weight. John Doerr's quote fits perfectly here. Leadership is about people. Machines may help organize, but only humans can inspire. And that inspiration, motivating a team when things get tough, that's uniquely human.
Yeah.
Okay, number 7, IT consulting and business analysis. AI, it can process tons of data, spot trends, but can it really understand the subtle context of a business problem? Or figure out what stakeholders really need, even if they don't say it directly? Or come up with truly creative, strategic solutions that perfectly align tech with the business goals? That takes human insight, judgment, negotiation.
Absolutely. As a consultant or a BA, you're that crucial link, aren't you, between the business side and the tech side. You're digging into processes, translating needs into specs, recommending the right path forward.
Yeah.
Skills in things like business process modeling, using tools like Visio or visualizing data with Tableau or Power BI are important.
Done.
But honestly, strong communication, presentation skills, managing stakeholders, those are huge. Certifications like CBA, PMI, PBA are good ones here. Clayton Christensen's insight is so true. Consulting isn't about knowing all the answers. It's about asking the right questions and turning insights into action.
And asking those really sharp, insightful questions. AI still got a ways to go there. All right, number 8, IT compliance and risk management. AI can definitely help here, like monitoring systems 24/7 for weird activity or potential risks, but interpreting complex laws and regulations, making judgment calls on tricky ethical situations involving tech, adapting to brand new rules that just came out. That needs human understanding and accountability. It's more than just ticking boxes. It's understanding the why behind the rules.
Right. So in this role, you're making sure all the IT stuff meets legal standards, industry rules, you're doing risk assessments, audits, developing the governance policies.
Yeah.
You need to know your way around GRC platforms, understand regulations like GDPR, HIPAA,
Yes.
SOX, and have really strong analytical skills, plus that ethical reasoning piece. Meg Whitman put it plainly, in a world of increasing cyber threats and data regulations, compliance isn't optional. It's critical.
Critical, absolutely. And it needs humans to weigh things up and make those difficult calls. Skill number 9, business analysis and IT strategy. It kind of builds on the consulting role, but maybe takes it a step higher. It's really focused on that strategic alignment, making sure technology truly serves the big picture business objectives.
Right.
And that requires strategic thinking, communicating really complex stuff clearly to different audiences, technical folks, business leaders, and having a deep knowledge of the actual business you're in. These are all areas where, well, AI isn't quite there yet.
Exactly. You're turning a business vision into a concrete tech roadmap. You're doing cost-benefit analysis, figuring out the ROI. You're often driving those big digital transformation projects.
Yeah.
Skills like SWOT analysis, process modeling, maybe some SQL for data digging. But again, communication and stakeholder management are paramount. Indra Nooyi said it, didn't she? Understanding business needs and aligning them with technology is what future-ready companies are built on.
Couldn't agree more. And finally, our 10th AI resilience skill, tech education and IT training. Think about it. Technology is changing so fast.
Unbelievably fast.
Right. So the need for skilled people who can actually teach this stuff effectively, explain complex ideas clearly, design good training, build that culture where people want to keep learning, that's only going to grow. Teaching needs empathy. It needs you to adapt to your audience, connect with people. AI just can't replicate that human connection in teaching.
Totally agree. If you're in tech education, you're not just dumping information. You're guiding people, inspiring them, helping them build confidence with new tools and concepts. You need to know about learning management systems, instructional design, sure,
Yeah.
but also just being a good communicator, maybe even a mentor. Steve Wozniak's quote is perfect here. The greatest technology in the world is useless without the minds to understand and apply it.
Which really highlights how vital those educators are, the ones who cultivate those minds. So, look, as we wrap this up, the big takeaway seems pretty clear, doesn't it? The skills that are going to remain most valuable are the ones that really tap into unique human strengths. AI is an incredibly powerful tool, no doubt. But it seems like it's here to amplify what humans can do, not completely replace us across the board.
So maybe the question you should be asking isn't, will AI take my job? But more like, okay, how can I leverage AI to do my job even better? And which uniquely human skills should I focus on to make sure I'm indispensable? The future really looks like collaboration,
Yeah.
humans with machines.
Yeah, I think that's right. Now is definitely the time to be thinking ahead. Invest in developing these kinds of skills we've talked about. Figure out how AI can actually help you in your role, and focus on being that essential human part of the equation.
So for you listening right now, as you think about your career, your next training course, whatever it is, maybe zoom out even further than these 10 skills. Ask yourself, what are those really fundamental human abilities? Things like, critical thinking, solving really messy problems, creativity, genuine communication, emotional intelligence. Aren't those the things that will always be essential no matter how smart the machines get? That feels like the truly AI-proof foundation to build on. What do you think?